Walkie dokie, there's two things you need to know about this little circus before I show you my friend. The first thing you need to know is that I don't know what I'm photographing most of the time until I've photographed it. Often what I find here doesn't come up with image recognition software straight away, so I have to put it into iNaturalist and wait for someone else who's qualified to identify these things to actually identify them, which is handy as heck. If you're not using iNaturalist, you probably should. And then the other thing is that I have 5 paying jobs before this comes along as a hobby. And then I also have a family. So at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of time to play with Lego or take photos or mess around. A lot of what I managed to achieve with Go and Buggo is done in the little bits of time I find, normally on the toilet. It's not easy for me to make a lot of space for this stuff. And the reason those 2 points are relevant is because I'm about to let go of a creature that I photographed last night. But I photographed it on a set that wasn't designed for this creature. And at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal, but now that I'm about to let it go, I've just found out what it is. So let's have a quick look at my little friend here. So this right here is a Kuranda spotted Katydid. They were only discovered in 2008, and you'd never believe this, but they're mainly from the Kuranda region. Surprise, surprise! You can find them up to sort of 2 hours south of here to 2 hours north of here by car. So Cooktown to Mission Beach is about where they've been found so far. These guys here, I now know, are absolutely... Ooh. Off he goes. They're amazing. They're little instars. Instead of being camouflaged instars, are myrmecomorphs, so they look like ants when they're babies for safety, which I had no idea about until now. So when I took these photos, I didn't realize how rare, how exclusive, how regional it was. I mean, that's the second or third one of those I've ever seen. I don't know if I'm going to get another chance to photograph one, so I wish I had photographed one in full light. This little library set that I photographed it in, I actually made for the children's books that I'm trying to raise money to donate to children's hospitals. So it was not designed to be a well-lit scene, but I didn't think it was going to be a problem with such a bright Katydid, and I'm not entirely sure that I'm happy with how the photos came out, but I may never get a second chance to photograph this. And those instars, I mean, goodness me, if I can ever find an early instar of that looking like an ant, I will bend over backwards to get a decent photo of that, because they are adorable, and myrmecomorphy is amazing. But yeah, this is one of the challenges of doing this, is that I'm kind of going in blind and just hoping that the photos are good enough and just hoping that you can identify the creatures from it. I don't actually really have a lot of time with these creatures, or a lot of time to build these sets, or a lot of time to double check the photos before I let the creatures go. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, which is exciting in its way, but also really stressful for me, because I'm doing this because I believe that this matters. I believe that people deserve to understand the small elements of the world around them that make our planet function, because bugs, invertebrates, are critical to this planet's functioning, to our survival, and people deserve to feel a personal connection to that. And I want you to be able to look these creatures in the eye and have an understanding about what they are and where they're from and why they matter. And all of that, as much as it matters to me, unfortunately doesn't take precedence over paying my mortgage and feeding my child. So it's a struggle, but it's worth it. But yeah, letting something like that go when I know that I may not have gotten a good enough photo of it, that stuff just sort of, that's going to bother me for ages now. So that's your Kuranda spotted Katydid.